Hey,
What's going on?
it's good to see you.
How does the audio sound? I just got these pros, so I'm trying
Ooh,
to.
fancy headphones.
Yeah, it was a birthday gift,
Oh,
so it was
nice,
cool.
nice. I think you sound good. So I don't know.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you great. I'm in my room, so this is all new to me, but it's exciting. So I'm trying
Okay,
to get the.
good.
Is
Yeah,
it the lighting okay?
yeah. You look good. Everything's good. Thank you so much for wanting to join in. I know we haven't seen each other in a bit because COVID and soccer got shut down. So
Yeah, it's been wild. Oh,
I know. I can't wait to catch up at some point, anyways. But yeah, I wanted to say thanks for wanting to be a part of this interview series. For me, and I think for other people, it's a cool way to, these conversations are a nice way to allow people to share their story and how they've navigated their work life, especially people picked out maybe unique jobs or created their own businesses or kind of haven't done things necessarily mainstream. So I think it's always fascinating to hear how people gotten to where they are. So
yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm excited about it. So.
yeah, and if you want to introduce yourself, you can give everyone a little intro to who you are and what you do, what you're doing now.
My name is Stephen Conti. I'm a licensed massage therapist. I own my own company, Tocar Spa, and I have a sports division, Tocar Sport. Some of the main, I guess, experiences or accomplishments. I work with the U.S. soccer team, so the national team at the youth level, so the under 17s and under 20s. And I was slated to go to Tokyo, but we didn't qualify, unfortunately. So that was it. I was looking forward to that, but it's
That's
okay. We'll get
that's
back
pretty
there
cool though that you were even
in
in
consideration.
awesome.
Yeah, so I've been also with the youth teams, 4 different World Cups. So that's been fun. Get to travel all over the world, meet really cool, not only athletes but practitioners, guys who are doing
Mhm.
sports medicine everywhere in the world or in the country, which is really cool. But in terms of my private practice here, the massage clinic, I do work with anyone from post-surgical to just general relaxation. I also see athletes in the office, but some of the work I've really been getting into a lot lately is, well, continuing is the work I do with the University of Maryland with the Terps. So I do a lot of the D1 teams down there, men's lacrosse, women's lacrosse, soccer. I did football in the past, but not anytime recently. But just track and field, cross country. I work with the baseball team, so that's been pretty cool to kind of reach back and work with those guys as an alum as well. So that's kind of big picture of what's going on with me right now. And I'm, you know, still trying to manage my business and keep it afloat. COVID's been
Right.
kind of crazy, but I think we've leveled out enough where the other side, starting to look at 2022, is going to look pretty sunny.
Good.
So
Yeah.
that's where I'm at. I mean, taking it day by day and just, enjoying the ride.
Yeah, I know it's definitely certain industries have been hit harder than others, so everyone's gotten a little creative or just sort of put things on hold
Yeah,
for now. So
you don't have a choice.
yeah,
I mean, when they tell you you can't work for 3.5 months, it's like, okay, well, might as well use this time and make it a positive, kind of tighten up on some business things and
yeah,
get some things worked out that you didn't have any time for
right.
in the process. But yeah, that's me. So
That's great.
yeah,
I know you're doing a lot of cool stuff. I feel like I'm biased too since I have soccer background to wanting to talk to somebody who knows how to take care of athletes' bodies.
yeah, absolutely.
um, and I'm gonna shut my window real quick. There's a loud truck in the background. So
Commerce doesn't stop.
I know it doesn't. It's not even trash day, and it's still loud as shit. So I'm a positive psychology coach, and I have my coaching business where I help individuals who are looking to align their interests, passions, and merge that with their strengths. So a lot of what I studied in my master's of positive psychology was looking at what people already naturally do well, their strengths, and then how do you take that and optimize them. And so, what I found with talking with different people who've managed to, like, you take something you're really interested in and create a business while also juggling all of your other work obligations. And usually what people, gravitate toward are their strengths and things that they do well naturally. And, when you're able to start using those all the time, it can be really energizing. I think it can help you kind of take yourself to the next level, work professionally.
Yeah.
Um, and I want to have on. Obviously, I think the work you're doing is really awesome. I've been following along in your newsletters, and even when I wasn't living in the area, and I think it's cool just what you've been able to create in your field, and especially maintaining such a positive attitude this past year.
Yeah.
With everything going on, and yeah, I thought it would be cool for you to share your story and tell us about what has helped you along the way, what kind of keeps you motivated, keeps you going, and yeah, I'm excited to hear it.
Um, yeah, I guess, I mean, to answer your question, what's kind of kept me motivated along the
Hmm.
way is um, partially I don't have a choice. So that's the absence of options has kind of led you or led my focus to be a lot more narrow or focused. But um, I just enjoy working with people. I enjoy picking up positive energy, exchanging positive energy, and I think a strength of mine, and for anyone who comes to work with me or is in contact with me, is just a connection. I'm able to connect with people, and I don't mean it's like psychologically, but just energetically. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I have a very, I'm in tune, empathetically,
Hmm.
so I can kind of sense and pick up on people's energy and not necessarily manipulate it or to for negative or positive, but I'm in tune with what they're going on with, and I can kind of bring my energy to match that to kind of level it out. So people will come in the clinic and you'll see them, just coming with the sour face and just sitting in traffic, and it's like, okay, let's sit down for a second. Here's some water. Take a couple deep breaths. Let's talk, and then we'll get on the table and we'll make sure. And then by the time they leave, it's like, oh my God, thank you so much. I know I was coming in hot, and like
Yeah.
it's okay. Like that's life, like
Hmm.
you can't control everything that happens. You can't. There's actually a few things that you can control.
Yeah.
So just kind of learning to ride the wave and not try to control everything. It actually really just kind of makes things easy. And then when you're with people with that vibe in that same realm, it's like, okay, I know when I come here, I'm going to feel better when I leave. Or when I talk to so and so, I always feel great. And that I think is one of the strengths I have when just dealing with people in general.
Right.
Doesn't matter if you speak the same language, it's just the energy and the connection you can foster. And I try to bring that into my practice here. And
Hmm.
hopefully, I think people are benefiting from it and, you know, they come back. So,
Yeah, that's a good sign. They're going. I feel like
yeah,
definitely shows your success when you have people returning over and over. So
for
yeah,
sure.
great. I think empathy, having that emotional intelligence where you recognize where someone's coming from, or if they're having a crap day and they're coming in, and rather than taking it personally, it's like, okay, how can we help slow them down and get them to leave in a different state, a different mentality. So
Yeah, you just take the ego out of it. Like, I'm not the center of the universe. Like, what is going on with me is not the most important thing in this earth. So,
hmm.
okay, just try to take a step back and see how you can serve. That's
Hmm.
how I approach it.
Well, so I wanted to
Excuse me.
ask you um, what originally got you interested in doing massage? Because I know you have a long history with your certifications and your work, and I was curious kind of what prompted you to sort of start it in
Oh,
the work.
no, that's a great question. I think originally I kind of started playing around with it through sports in high
Mhm.
school. Like we had, and this is, I graduated high school in 2000, so I don't quite remember. We didn't have coverage really with an athletic trainer, even for our practices, and maybe we had one for the game, but I don't really recall anyone being totally tuned in with the athletes, other than the coaches who would actually double as trainers. They would tape the guys, run the workout programs, but um, I just got fascinated with like seeing how the stretching program we were doing and the lifting program just helped us like achieve more and just we're just faster and stronger. We really didn't get a lot of injuries. And I'm like, wow, like this is kind of cool. And then you see the guys on TV run out and kind of check on the guys when they get hurt. And I'm like, this is kind of interesting to see what's behind that. And I didn't necessarily have an interest in being like a physical therapist or like an ATC, but I wanted to find a way to kind of utilize some of the, I guess, the feel good, what they do. And you see them stretch out the guys and give them massage out a cramp. And I'm like, that's kind of cool. It looks fun. So, I mean, originally I would say sports was the first thing that drew me into it. But then I just, in college, it's funny, I would trade massage for food, for dining points. Um, at the end of the semester,
At
the
Maryland.
guys, yeah, they blow through the food. You're going to late night, you're getting pizzas and wings. And like 3, 4 weeks before the semester's over, I'm out. I'm like, man, this is not good.
Yeah.
So I actually bought my first table on eBay when I was in college. I had it shipped to my buddy's house, and I would trade and say, hey, can I give you like
Oh,
a back massage for some like food for the week? I'm like, okay. Um, then I had one of my other really good friends in college. She was on the field hockey team, and
uh-huh.
said this is better than what my trainer does. I'm like, really? I'm like, okay, cool. So then I just kind of continued with it, bought some books, continued to play around with it and read and research. And so like, this is actually something I'm really enjoy doing. It's
Mhm.
not just like, I could see myself doing it, but I didn't think about it as a career option at that point. I was all kind of, I was a comm major, so I was communications. I
Mhm.
wanted to be a spokesperson for like a sports team. That was my whole thing. Um, but it just kind of turned into this path. I was like, okay, I like it.
That's great. So it's all started with you bartering in college.
Oh yeah, bartering in college and just working on people and just like asking, getting feedback. Like, do you like that? What do you think about this? Oh, that's not good. I don't like it. I like it. Okay, cool. Just making like a mental inventory of everything.
Right. So just
Yeah.
trying to trial and error almost. It wasn't.
I mean, yeah. I guess it's something that just kind of fell to me, but I mean, that's the only way I think you get better is through failing,
Yeah.
and you learn a lot more from your mistakes than you do from your victories, in my opinion. Because you
Right.
have something that I can go back. I know I need to work on this.
Hmm.
This wasn't good. This didn't go well. So let me kind of think my way through this or try it a different way. And then, oh, yeah, that's good. That's better. Okay.
Hmm.
I'll get some more pizza today. That's good.
I love
Yeah,
it. So you had some strong motives originally when you were
absolutely. Got to
pizza,
eat.
pizza anyway.
Got to fuel the body.
I love it because we had, when I was playing in college, I feel like I was there when we were going through a transition to with the what are we doing to treat and take care of our bodies in terms of climate, with women's soccer. You obviously know this with ACL injuries are huge, and
It's
so we
huge.
would start doing, plyometrics, and I think I had an advantage growing up because I also played basketball. So my body, I think, from a young age, got used to a lot of those movements that we sort of mimicked in the plyometric training. But
Yeah,
then,
the jump cuts and quick movements.
yeah, then it was like, eat certain stuff right after the game, or like eating before the game, and buddy stretching, and we even did so it just it was like a slow evolution, I noticed, and they did start incorporating massage as an option. But I think you're right, like having that there, that resource, and being more proactive. I can only imagine now, especially somewhere like Maryland with that all the financial resources they have, it's so important to be proactive with, especially in a sport. You only have 4 years to play there, so if you have
Yeah,
a
you're trying to maximize as much time
period
you
that
have.
you might be out for a year, which is
Yep.
oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the goal is to be on the field. So that's
Yeah,
the athlete's number one skill set or the number one strength is their availability. Like if you're not
yeah,
able to play, then what's the point? Like so everything is led up to kind of getting them back on there performing at the highest level possible given whatever stage of the season you're in. Yep.
right. So what's kept you, for you, what is so meaningful about this work? Is it, that connection you talked about with people, or the
I
progress you
I would say just the impact that I have with my different clients. And sometimes you go through it and it's like, wow, I'm kind of feel like I'm in a rut. I'm doing the same routine. I'm seeing the same people, and it takes something outside of your normal day to day to kind of wake you up again to
Mhm.
your connection or your value. So I got a letter in the mail from a customer, and this was coming at a period in time. And I think I have an infant
I think I
daughter, so
saw.
like,
I want you to share it.
yeah. So just juggling the family, like with my infant daughter, she's
Yeah,
20 months, is super active,
she's
and
super
just
cute too.
oh my God, yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, that's my baby. Just trying to figure out a balance to it. It's like you can have burnout quick trying to figure out work, life, et cetera, et cetera. So I was kind of feeling a little off, and I got a letter in the mail, and the lady said, I've been to a physical therapist, a chiropractor, I've taken medicine for this back pain, and after one session with you, it's not come back. And she's not a regular client. She comes in maybe once a quarter, maybe twice a year. But for someone who comes in that infrequently to actually take time out and write a letter of gratitude and say, I appreciate what you've done. I'm like, that really gave me such a boost to see, like,
Mhm.
okay, that's my value in this
Mhm.
space. Like, you may not see it every day, you may not hear about it. I mean, obviously, people again will come back, so that's some level of I like what you're doing and I find value in it. But somebody actually taking their time and writing that out, that was powerful. So I see my value in this as just like just helping people to live on their terms, to be able to do the things that they want to do. And if I'm a part of that, then that's amazing. Like if I have a grandfather that comes in and wants to play with his daughter or his granddaughter and pick her up, and he can't because of back pain or he can't because he has limited range of motion, and we help him get back to that point. I say help because massage therapy is a tool just like any other modality.
Mhm.
It's just a guide. It's not the end all be all. But if I'm a small part to play in that, I mean I feel great. Like
Yeah.
I get more probably than they get from me. I'm like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah, that is
So
great. And what's kind of, yeah, why have you chosen that modality? Like what's unique about massage, you think, with that modality?
it's just hands on. It's connection. It's intimate. It's just like it's a human need for it. And I'm sure you've seen some of the studies like they had these like studies out in I think it was Ukraine, some country that they measured the babies who got touched versus the babies who
Mhm.
didn't in like the neonatal unit, and the babies who were held and touched and coddled, they grew up bigger, stronger, less psychological issues and concerns. It's like it's innate for humans to touch. Like
Right.
it's just natural. You put a hand on someone's shoulder to comfort them. You hold their hand if they're scared. You hug someone when you're happy.
Hmm.
I think in our culture, everyone's a little on edge about touch now. It's like no one wants to be
Yeah,
considered, you know, that they don't want to be that person that, that is
right.
whatever.
I've had to
So
really rein back with my hugging giving. Like that's
yeah, because everyone just takes, I mean, fair enough. If that's part of your, history, then that is what it is. But I just think in general, our culture, Western culture is a little more conservative and we
Mhm.
lack a lot of empathy and touch that I
Yeah.
think would serve us pretty well. Healthy touch, that is.
Right. Yeah, obviously. And right when I was out of college, I lived in Thailand for a little bit. I did, a teaching gig, and that, it was right after college, so I had still like lingering weird, not, just injuries, but not big. They're just kind of there. And I started getting massage a lot over there. And Thai
Yeah.
massage
Oh
is,
God, it's awesome.
it's just part of their life. It's not, it's not, oh, we're going to the spa for the day and getting
Hmm.
massage once a year. It was their way of, taking care of their bodies, and they would do it to each other or they'd go somewhere. It was just really accessible and part of the culture. I remember being like, wow, I think that was my first experience really seeing massage as a lifestyle tool and not a luxury.
Yeah. I mean, it really is helpful. It really is helpful mentally and physically. That's the I think to go back to your other question, that I think is part of the value of it because you have a physical connection, obviously a physical benefit, like, I can get this kink out of my shoulder or my muscle doesn't feel as fatigued. But mentally, just being in a space, a quiet space, a private space, in a safe space for an hour
Yeah.
and a half, just invaluable, especially for young moms or anyone who doesn't have the time in their schedule to really treat themselves to just time off, not necessarily like pampering, but just getting your own mental space is very important.
Right. Yeah, that is so important. I feel like even now, after this year of us having to refrain from, touching, hugging, whatever, I think it's almost all the more important for people to be getting that connection going and having somebody take care of their body for an hour.
Absolutely.
So, what I find interesting with your work is, you have all this experience with, um, at Maryland and with all these different sports teams, and then you also have your business. So I was curious why it was so important for you to also create Tocar Spa, in addition to the work, you're doing already.
Um, I would say the reason I created my company was because I thought I could do it better than I've seen or experienced in my previous work experiences. Like before, I worked for a huge multinational spa chain. That was my first job, and then I worked for a franchise clinic, and just kind of seeing how they operate and kind of getting the lay of the land. Like, man, there's so much inefficiency in how they operate, and there's so many steps to get to the point, which is getting someone on the table, giving them a phenomenal experience, and then moving on to the next person to treat or work on. It just seemed to me that I felt, at least, and I don't know if that was my ego speaking at the time, like I can do this better, like
Mm-hmm.
I can keep all the money myself. And it's like you get a couple of shocks along the way, like, oh, I see why they have these things structured like that. But okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was kind of the driving force to think, I think I can do it better.
Mm-hmm.
And I also wanted some creative freedom to do it the way I wanted to do it. Not, I don't want to have to check in all the time with someone else and get an approval. Like, hey, and I just recently painted the room. Like, okay, cool. Like, it's no problem. Just do it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's also scary too, when you have to make the ultimate decision. But
Mm-hmm.
I just felt more comfortable with it at all. I mean, just in total, I just felt more comfortable making the decision and being comfortable with living with the fact that either going to succeed or not succeed. I was fine with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. I think the creative freedom, and so it sounds like having the creative freedom, but also an opportunity to build on your knowledge and improve. I find in some of this interview series that is a theme with people. They have this industry, this field that they're really interested in, passionate about, a lot of experience, and because of that experience for so many years, they're seeing, ooh, that I feel like that could actually be done a little bit better, or let's, we could clean this up over here, and so, then starting your own project, your own business, you have that opportunity to, improve and based on everything you've learned. So, yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah.
So, going back to your strengths, do you feel like there are some, with connecting with people in the massage part, you said empathy was really important. What's helped you sort of with the business side of things?
Just structure. I
Mhm.
mean, and I still have ways to go to perfect that, but just having like a structure provides you freedom. Like, and I didn't think about it in that way before. Like, oh, well, I'll just kind of do it the way I want to do it. But there's a reason that the structure is there, and structure actually gives you a lot more leadway if things are running behind, if you haven't taken care of one project, you have it on the schedule and like Monday, this is my day to do this. Okay. And then I'm going to set this time to do this. And then I'm going to do my notes from this time to this time. If you don't have a structure, if you don't have that plan, then it kind of gets chaotic pretty quick. So I would say structure is probably one of the biggest strengths to anyone who's running a business could, start off with, because if you don't have that, you're kind of just out in the ocean, and
Yeah.
it can get rough.
Yeah. Yeah. So having systems and structure to help.
Hmm.
So then it's not like every week you're having to make all these little decisions. It's sort
You
of,
automate it. You automate
yeah.
the whole process. It's like, oh, I don't even have to think and put any mental energy into bookkeeping because now I've figured out it's better for me to hire a bookkeeper to do this because
Hmm.
my time could be better served doing something else than trying to plug through QuickBooks and making the mistakes. Like things like that, you figure out pretty quick. And those systems really will make things a lot better for you.
Right. Yeah. So it's almost going back. It's almost like you're delegating the things that are going to take more time for you. So, okay, I'll hire someone to do bookkeeping because that's not something that I need to
It's
be.
it's not a strength and it's not something that like I'm sure I could learn it, right? I'm sure I could take some courses and take some time
Yeah.
to really learn it. But then now that's taking me away from treating customers and it's taking me away from my strength. And
Right.
it's like I
Yeah.
can work on that, and there's something to be said for developing or addressing your weaknesses, but you got to work to your strength. What am I good at? Let's work that.
That's perfect. That's something some of the people I've worked with too, when we introduce the idea of strengths, it's also people, for so long, we're told, okay, if you're not good at this, we'll focus on that and get a little bit better. But actually, and, it obviously have some moderation with your weaknesses. You need to keep them in check a little bit. But I found, or what the research has shown with what I studied in my master's, is that it's actually way more advantageous to focus on your strengths and put energy and time into those than to try to fix things you're not great at. And so, for you, that's great. Delegating, something that, okay, I know I could probably get better at this, but I don't want to. So where's the magic that I have? That's with actually being one-on-one with people, connecting with people. So
Right.
I think that's just as important, recognizing your weaknesses and not seeing them, also seen as an opportunity to give somebody else to work in their strengths. Maybe that accountant is like, this is what I love to do. I like to help people who
Yeah.
have businesses who don't
Uh-huh.
like numbers or whatever their excuses for not, most people, if you're having your own business, you can't do it all. It's it's really
No,
rare, I think.
you need a
You know,
team, especially as a solopreneur. You have to build a team. Like even if it's not people that are direct reports to you, but your
right,
team is still people you hire to do essential functions. So it's like, yeah, you have to absolutely.
right. So it's almost, yeah, just as important to um, delegate out or export out the tasks that aren't in your strengths as it is to be focusing on them. So, and especially in this last year, I think what's helped you maintain your confidence, or what do you find you come back to with as an entrepreneur? What keeps you confident moving toward your goals?
Just see the progress. And sometimes, like I said before, you can't always see it when you're in the middle of it. But when your customers tell you, wow, you don't realize how far you've come from when I first came in and what your operation was like and how it's going now, you're like, okay, so I may be in the same location, but I am making progress. And all you have to do is continue to make progress. Like the goal is always to me is like this is a thing that's out there we're chasing, right? This is my goal is to, you know, originally was to franchise my company, right? And
Cool.
now I don't know if that's the goal anymore, but my immediate goal is to have a bigger clinic, more therapists.
Hmm.
So as long as every day I'm taking a step towards that, I'm fine with it. I'm content with the progress. But it
Right.
definitely helps when someone else can say, "Hey, like you're doing pretty good. Like you're not doing so bad. It's I see the progress. I see what you're working towards, and
Hmm.
you're taking the steps to get there." Now, again, in the end of the day, whether you get there or not is not really important. It's I think to me, it's the journey to getting there, like
Hmm.
improving your process, perfecting your practice, and impacting the people who come into your space. And if that's not good enough for you, then then there's other issues that I think can be flushed out. It's like, what's important to you? What do you really want? Like, what is your definition of success? Like, you have to make it for yourself, and not kind of everyone's not going to have this type of business. Everyone's not going to turn into Amazon and, have these mega businesses. And it's
Yeah.
just being content and just saying, hey,
Right.
I'm doing pretty good.
Right. So for you, focusing on the process and growth
Absolutely.
is where you find the most joy and satisfaction.
Yeah, because you can get so distracted with the end goal. Like, I gotta get here, I gotta get here. And you beat yourself up and it becomes this negative mindset. It's like you set the goal, that's great. You need to start with that. But
Mhm.
then the steps you take to perfect it and to get there, that's fun. It's kind of, you just see the progress. It's like, this is
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. It's
It's
like
like,
sports. There's never, you're never gonna reach. I don't think you ever reach a point where you're like, this is it. I'm done improving.
right, yeah, like, nah, it's always something to work on. But I
Yeah.
think it's the mindset too. It's just like you have to be like positive and take things as they come and not give yourself some grace, Like I
Mhm.
feel like a lot of people that I've talked to, or even my customers who are starting their own businesses, just kind of get like, man, I really need to be doing this. Oh, I'm like, why? Like, just relax. You got it. Like, right? It's good. You're doing good.
Yeah. That's great. And with talking about your confidence, and I'm I'm sure anybody who's taken the entrepreneurial journey has fears that come up. And I was curious for you, you know, I feel like all of us have that one or two fears that continually come up, and it's not that they go away, but we have to figure out how to navigate around them or just sort of live with them. And I was wondering, what's helped you, or what do you do when those fears come up?
Um, I mean, just try to address them, like, and have a process to address it. Like, okay, making payroll is a big fear for every entrepreneur. Like, am I going to make payroll? Can I pay my people? Can I pay myself? Am I going to have any financial stability? Right? That's the biggest thing. So it's like, well, what processes do I need to do to make sure that happens? And just kind of look at what you're afraid of, look at what is a hurdle, and try to just take one chunk at it at a time. I mean, there's no perfect answer. Everyone's in a different industry, everyone's in a different business, but it's just going back to the systems. You got to put some sort of system in place to kind of work through it, and try to figure it out. And then also, really, just ask for help too. Get a mentor. That's probably the biggest thing. Somebody, even if it's across an industry that has nothing to do with yours, business has the same principles across the board in every um, industry. So you have the same general principles: man management, finances, innovation, marketing. All of these things kind of cross borders. So just talking to someone who has a little more experience and that can see outside of you, that's also really a good idea, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's great. Mentors, having that guidance, and whether you hire that out or you just connect with people, that you can chat with and check in with.
Yeah, that's helpful.
And yeah, that's great. Um, so when you talk about support, I think mentors are also a great support. I was wondering, what has helped you, what other support has helped you turn, this passion, this interest of yours into a business?
What other support? I mean, I've talked to probably every business owner shop that I'm in. I just talked to them, just like, how did you get there? Like, what are you doing? Like, how did this work? Like, just talking to people. I don't know. Like, in
Mm-hmm.
terms of support, it wasn't like, anyone just kind of gave me a bunch of money and said, here, good luck, or like sat down with me and kind of
Yeah.
did the work with me.
Mm-hmm.
People were supportive kind of from afar, like, oh, that's pretty cool. You're going to do it. Okay, awesome. Let me know how it goes. But it's like, okay, well, you got to kind of be self-motivated in the sense that you know what you want to do and you just really need to get it done. And then you seek the support as you're going along from peers, you seek it from people in the industry and people who you kind of want to emulate and say, okay, well, that person looks like they've got it. Like, hey, can I talk to you for a second? What am I doing wrong? Like, why is this not, most people who are entrepreneurs, I feel like are much more open to talking to other entrepreneurs,
Mm-hmm.
especially when I say cross industry, when they don't feel like it's a threat to their
Mm-hmm.
business.
Yeah.
Like, I've talked to a restaurant guy, like, oh, wow, really? Like, that's how you deal with, you know, HR issues. I've talked to all of the coaches I work with about man management. Like, huh, that's how you address performance issues. Like, interesting. I never thought about it like that. You know, it's just like fascinating to see how other people who are in those roles think and attack problems and just try to pick up a little bit from everyone is how
Right.
I try to approach it.
No, I think that's great. So it's sort of, you're always going to be at a different, I'm sure you're in a different stage now on your business journey than you were years ago. And so talking to people, asking questions, I think you're right. When people, I don't think are reluctant to share information, to want to help. If you ask people for help in an area of their expertise, generally people are going to want to help you. And I think, yeah, you're right. Obviously, if it's not your direct competitor,
Yeah, like, hey, how are you making all the sales?
you're making all the money. How'd you do that?
You're right.
So, yeah, I think it's great being inquisitive, asking questions. Yeah, being curious and like hearing and what you said earlier, I like that too with emulating, because everyone's going to have different people they gravitate toward, or see somebody running a business or see somebody doing work that in a style that aligns with you, and that you're going to be drawn to that and want to know how they do that. And I know for myself, if there are people that I admire, I would look them up on a podcast, try to listen to them talk and be like, what do they do? What's going, how do they make that happen? And to me,
Right.
that's always, for myself personally, that can be a source of motivation, inspiration, even,
Yeah.
even if you can't talk to them directly.
Yeah, definitely inspiration. I mean, you can just look at anything to get inspiration, but if you see like something you, like you said, you gravitate towards, it's like, wow, that's a pretty cool, podcast. Like, let me watch it. Like, there's something that just feels organic about it. Something feels like it's not work. It's like they're in a nice zone. It's like, well, how did they get there? Like, what is this,
Mm-hmm.
the journey? What was the process like? And
Mm-hmm.
hopefully you get to either watch it and kind of figure it out, or like I'll see some other practice. I'm like, wow, oh, that's cool. Like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, all right.
Yeah, you
Get
can
some,
pick and choose which ideas resonate, and then yeah, add it into your own work. So, what would you say if someone came to you now as wanting to start their own business? Maybe they just have an idea or something they kind of like you were in college, like, ooh, I like this. I think I want to keep doing this. Or maybe they're much farther along and they just want to, start something to make the industry a little bit better, like you did with Tocar Spa. So, what's some advice you would give to people at that beginning stage of their journey?
build the plane as you're flying it. Like, there's never a perfect time to do it, right? Like, there's always something. I was blessed in that I did it when I had no obligations other than myself. Like, I knew I had a college degree. I knew I could get a work or get a job somewhere. And I said, well, you know what? What am I waiting for? Like, just go, try it, see what happens. Obviously, if your situation's a little different, you may have to be a little more calculated and not just jump out, but start. Like, your start doesn't have to be, I'm getting commercial space in the building. Your start could be, I'm writing down my plan and I'm sharing it with friends, or I'm sharing it with people I trust, and or go to a pop-up market or whatever your industry is or whatever you want to do. Just start. Just put it out there. I think that a lot of people are afraid of the rejection of putting out, and I'm be honest, I still have hesitancy when I put out stuff on like social media, like, because people are vicious, and it's like you want to put something out that you think would benefit folks, but then there's people who are like trolling and just like negative, like, so it's a little bit of a fear, but it's something that you just got to work through, and it's like, just do it. The people who value your work will gravitate towards you. um, but I would also tell anyone starting is just to write out your plans and talk about it. Talk about it out loud. Talk to a group of friends. Like, what do you guys think about this? And be like 100% open, because you don't want to, well, I'm thinking about doing, I don't know, jewelry business. Well, what type of jewelry? You may have like a super specialty niche, right? But I feel like just being open about it, just laying it all out, it will get it off your spirit, and then you can start kind of making it a reality.
Mm-hmm.
So just put it out there. Just start. That's it.
Right. So getting out of your head and like even vocalizing it makes it a little more that step to like it's like a little more real.
Yeah, it's just like it could be in your head. You have the best idea in the world, but if you don't talk about it, you don't write it out, you don't do anything. then it's always going to be a great idea and not going to be a great product or a great business. That's
Right.
my thoughts. Yeah.
And I love that you pointed out too, people who, it seems like for you, getting that positive feedback, that encouragement is important. So, being mindful of who you share those ideas with, because
Oh yeah.
some people be quick to shut it down.
Uh-huh. And it would ruin your
Here's-
confidence. You're like, oh, well, I guess that wasn't a good idea, but you just shared it with the wrong person.
Yeah, so you need that cheerleader friend who is gonna be like, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, just get going. I mean, you don't have really to have a choice. It's going to get better. You can't continue to be in business and get worse. Like
Yeah, that's true.
how it's like how can you get worse if you get continue to get too bad? Then the business won't be there. So it's like, and if that's not a goal you want, you'll figure it out.
Right. That's yeah. I love that advice. So tell us about what you're, working on now, and I feel like that might what projects and I feel like that's probably shifted even in the last month. I know everything's
Yeah,
changing quickly in the DC area,
yeah.
so
Other than still crying about the Olympics,
I know.
um,
Oh, I'm so sad for you. That would have
s-
been cool.
something big that's been in the works is, and I guess I'll frame it like this. It was highlighted by what happened during the pandemic, where if you have a physical service-based business and you're said, no, you cannot work, you're not allowed to work, which is a
Hmm.
crushing thing. Like you're talking about a whole quarter of the year that you can't work, and it's like, wow, that's impactful. Um, Finding a way to scale my service into something that can be consumed outside of this treatment room, outside of Columbia, Maryland. So what I've been working on, and I'm really, really excited. Hopefully, it will be ready to launch early Q3. So like mm, mid July, early August, something
Okay,
around
so
that
coming
time
up.
point. Yeah, it's a couples massage lesson video
Mhm.
series. So one of the main things I see or I hear from my clients is, oh, I didn't have time to do this. I caught a cramp at night. I'm like, well, did you get your partner to work on this? Like, no, no, he doesn't know what they're doing. She doesn't know what they're doing. Like, it hurts when they do it. Like, that's why I come here. I said, no, that's great. I don't want you to stop, but like, I've realized that there's a general lack of education in that topic, like casually, like in relationships. So we put together this video series and it breaks down lessons, neck and shoulder, hands, feet, super digestible 5-minute videos, great quality. And it's just putting it out there and seeing if you have a date night or you want to, work on your kid who's an athlete, whatever, there's this product is there now. So now there's an opportunity for me to scale and spread my, method throughout the internet, which is scary, but it's kind of cool as well.
I love it. That's so, and it just takes me back to what I was telling you earlier about, in Thailand and that culture, they would actually, that's what they would do. The families would, they all kind of knew what they were doing. They would massage each other. And I remember just be hanging out at someone's house and they'd be working on their
I'm like,
shoulders.
yeah, that's great.
And I love that idea because, how can I think for you as a business owner, you talk about your franchising, it's almost another way of scaling, just without having the physical space
Yeah,
everywhere. So,
and that's where everything is. If we're already here, to be honest, but that's where everything is going in the future. Everything is going, at least the way it seems to me. Videos, streaming services, everything is going on something that can be consumed from your portable mobile device. So, um, just if everyone in the world looked at that and got some value from it and learned how to work on someone that's close to them in a safe space, then
mhm.
I think everyone will be a lot better off.
Yeah,
It's like if you get a shoulder rub before you leave the house, how mad can you be? Like,
yeah,
like
give me
man,
that.
I feel great. Like, all right, come on, Dave, let's work it out.
Oh my gosh, I love that idea. That is so, it's so cool.
I'll talk to you offline too, and you can give me your thoughts on it. But
Yeah,
we're wrapping it up and kind of figuring out how to, push it out. But that's, you know,
Yeah, I could see that being, beneficial for couples, partners, and then also, like you said, if someone has a kid, they came home from practice and they have a cramp or whatever, having that little tutorial to,
Yeah, just a tool, just another tool. It could be like, hey, give this kid an ice bath or getting them in a hot tub, stretch them. This is just another tool, but it's a tool that I think that people don't realize is within their grasp. Like you're not that far off if you learn some basic steps to it. So that's the goal. That's where I was
right.
coming from. Yeah.
Yeah, there's only so much foam roller can do for you. It's,
Yeah, it's very impersonal. It's like, oh man, this thing sucks. And then I gotta propel myself on it. I want to just sit
I,
back and just. I
yeah,
say that as I was rolling out my IT band or quad chest. I'm like, oh
I know.
wow.
I'm always like, why I need to be using my foam roller more, but it's not as much fun.
That's fun. No, it's not. It's like a necessary evil. I got to do this so I can function, but it's not like I don't really get a lot of pleasure from it.
No, oh no, yeah. So, well, thank you so much, Stephen. This was awesome.
Awesome.
You had so many helpful tips, and I know if I was listening to this, it would be helpful for me. It's even helpful for me now, just as a reminder of things that, yeah, those things do help, and how people just sort of figure out their way to navigate their own journey with work, and I think it's really, telling that your focus is all about focusing on learning and improving in the beginning stages. You said when you were you almost had your beta clients of your friends
Oh yeah, getting
for
the food,
pizza,
man.
or you were already in that headspace of just give me feedback. I want to learn. I want to improve, and I think that's the kind of stuff that keeps you enjoying the process and enjoying things over the long term, because there really isn't always an end goal. But yeah,
Well,
so
I
I appreciate
appreciate it.
you
Yeah.
joining in on this interview series, and I look forward to seeing how your massage business expands and grows.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And thanks for having me on. I'll reach out and we'll
Yeah,
talk and hopefully I can see you on the pitch again. We
I
could
know. I'm excited to play again, although I'm a little nervous to. I gotta like remind myself to ease in, and I don't want to. I was
no
thinking like,
injuries.
so many people I see at Soccer Dome that could use your little tutorial on warming up, stretching, cooling.
Yeah, it's poor. I mean, they're rolling right in and just I'm like, whoa, okay. All right. Hopefully everything works out.
And
Like,
then you don't see them the following week.
yeah, it's like, oh man, I hurt my back. Like, okay. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you
All right,
so
my
much.
friend.
If
Be
people
well.
reach out to you, what's the best way to connect? If
Thank you. You can go to the website, the www.tocarspa.com. You can check us out on Instagram. It's the same, Tocar Spa or Tocar Sport if you're athletically inclined. We have a Facebook, every social media we're on. But yeah, the website is the best way. Email or DM is really good as well.
right,
So
right. Awesome. All
yeah,
right.
appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon.
Okay, take care. Bye.